Some years ago, Jerry and Esther were at the original macaroni grill, the original one. It was funny to her. It was an old dance hall that they converted, and then years later they built old dance halls all over the nation to mimic this macaroni grill. And Esther thought, you're not doing what you think you're doing. This was just an old dance hall, and now they're everywhere. So they were sitting at this macaroni grill with the butcher paper across the table and crayons for kids to draw on. Esther and Jerry both always drew pictures at lunch. And Esther had a to-do list that was really a long list. She'd been carrying the same list around for a long time and never came to the end of it. And she was overwhelmed, and she was complaining to Jerry about being overwhelmed. And they were off in a corner. It was almost the end of the lunchtime, hardly anybody else in the restaurant. And Jerry said, well, let's ask Abraham about your overwhelmment. And we said to Esther, draw a line down the center of this placemat. And on the left side, write, just pick the things that you are going to do today. Not the things that you've been saying you're going to do, but the things that you are going to do today. And just write them there on the left side. And then put everything else on your list on what we are calling the universe's side of the placemat. So Esther began transferring from her notebook this long list. And this is the part we really want you to hear. With each note that she moved, that she delegated to the universe, she felt relief. She felt freer about it. She felt freer about it. And that day, she got her things done. She only picked a few. But the universe got way more done. People that she'd been trying to reach called her. Things resolved themselves. Something came in the mail, and all kinds of things. It was uncanny how well the universe did with her list. And it hadn't been doing that well until she gave it with relief. So here's what we're getting at. As we've been teaching this process to you, sometimes you think that we are encouraging you to just boss the universe around. Take care of that, and take care of that, and take care of that. You know what to do, take care of that. But that's not the feeling of this. It's the taking it off your list. It's the taking something that you don't know what to do about. Do I need surgery? Do I need to eat differently? Do I need some sort of medicine? Do I need some sort of therapy? It takes all that confusion away. All those things that you've been considering that you can't decide what's the right way to go. What's the right and what's the wrong approach to this, because everybody's got a different idea about it. It takes that out of the equation when you delegate it to the universe. It's not giving up the desire of it. It's giving up the resistance that's within the desire of it. Can you hear that? Giving up the resistance that's within your desires. It's like wanting to make more money, but I don't really want to work long hours, and I really don't want to work for that guy. He'd pay me more, but I never liked that, and I don't want to do that. In other words, you've got all this resistance that is just not necessary to have activated. And what most of our human friends have not yet come to really get from us is that you get to choose. You get to say what you want. You get to say what you want. In fact, you've been saying it. You've been saying it. Every time you knew something that you didn't want, you were saying what you did want. And your loving, demonstrative, capable inner being has been attracting on your behalf from first launch, second launch, third launch. In other words, the cooperative components that have been gathered, it's ready to sprout and stick its head above the soil. We love you so much. It's so fun to be human, isn't it? You like those moments when what you really want bursts onto the scene. The lover shows up and says, here I am, take me. The money's in your bank account. In other words, you like those manifestational moments, and you like them so much that you're just mad in every moment that they're not happening. Mad at yourself, mad at somebody else, just irritated. And you got to get over that, because that irritation is your indicator that you're not in sync with what you're asking for. You just got to lighten up. You just got to make a smaller deal out of things you've been making big deals about. Talk less with fewer people about things that you're all in controversy about. Mostly you want the same things. You want to feel good, and you want to feel love, and you want to be of value to others, and you want others to be of value to each other and to you. There's not that many things that you have in controversy, but you're so defensive because manifestations aren't happening to you, and confused about why they're not happening. I must not be worthy, or born under the right star, or born to the right parents, or I should have gone to school, I should have got that degree instead of that one. You're spending so much time defining what is and trying to figure out why what is isn't better, when what is not what we're talking about anymore. It's what vibrationally is. It's what was, and some of what is has created that your inner being is all over, and you just want to get in sync with that is, with that now, with that abundance, with that recovery, with that balance, with that clarity, with that well-being. It's all there for you, and your inner being is broadcasting it. But when you're focused on the opposite of it, law of attraction is not an unfair arbitrator. The law of attraction doesn't say, well, let's just give him a break. Let's make him the exception in this case. It's not like that at all. There's not a thinker that is holding or withholding, giving or withholding anything. It's these natural laws of the universe that you've got to get in sync with. And your inner being is in sync with them. And when you're not, then you're complaining, or your discord, or your worry about whatever. We've been saying to you, what happened to anticipation? What happened to that feeling of, I would like that, without a feeling that somebody's going to keep me from getting it? I've missed my opportunity. It's so tricky, isn't it, to think thoughts that you didn't mean to think that seem so normal because everybody's thinking them, that you don't even acknowledge that they're in your way. That's what you just said. I didn't even know I was in my way because this is such a normal thought. I didn't even know I was in my way. Every time you're mad at somebody, you're in your way. Every time you're mad at you, you're in your way. Every time you're determined to be right, which is to say diversity is wrong. This is always right. Isn't that what that's really saying? Diversity must be wrong. It's as if you think that you were sent here to fight it out with each other, to come up with a handful of good ideas. And then everybody just live by those good ideas. And we say, that's not what eternity is about. Eternity is about diversity and life experience with it, and preferences, and launching rockets, and then lining up with those desires and getting in sync with the energy that creates worlds, and then experiencing the momentum building and the enthusiasm building and the feeling of anticipation building until you're right there to witness this idea and this rendezvous and this and this and this and this. We know you want the manifestations, and we want them for you. But when you get happy even before the manifestations come, now you're on the path to anything and everything that you desire. And there's no possible way that you could deprive anybody else of having it, because you getting it doesn't keep somebody else from having it. Anybody that's in alignment with their desire is getting it. And if they're not getting it, it's not because somebody else is preventing it. It's because their habits of thoughts. And friends, we're not saying that it's not logical that you'd think that way. How'd you like to be in Gaza about now? How'd you like to be there? In other words, there's not a whole lot of positive stuff to observe there. There's a whole lot of beliefs that are being reinforced, and a whole lot of feelings of defeat that are happening. And so it's extreme, but it didn't get there all at once. It took generations and generations and generations and generations and generations of belief in a certain right and a certain wrong, instead of reaching for the path of least resistance, which is source energy, welcoming everybody to the space and yielding to everyone equally who is asking and allowing, you see. So don't try too hard to figure out what anybody else is doing, but you sure can figure out what you're doing. You'll never have another thought in opposition to what you want and it not stick out in a very strong way. We know we got a little heavy. We activated a lot of stuff. But don't you feel a little more invincible than you did a little while ago? Don't you feel a little more decisive about focusing on your intentions rather than on your opinions? And then when you start connecting the dots, it is so much fun. Esther does about an hour of processes every day. She starts out with my side of the placemat. She just writes what she intends to do today. And then she starts out with the universe's side of the placemat, and that's usually more general. It's about some things that are not any of her business, but it's about a lot of things that are her business that she doesn't quite know how to proceed. So she just puts it on the universe's side of the placemat and then says thanks. And then she goes to a process that she calls my book of positive aspects, where she just takes anyone that she's going to rendezvous with today, whether it's someone she knows or somebody that she knows she's going to meet, she makes a list of their positive aspects. And by that we mean easy existing matches. And then she plays another game called Prime the Pump. Prime the Pump is her favorite game this day, because we've been saying that what you want to spend your time doing are the things that you really want to do, the things that don't have resistance in it. Well, everyone has things that they feel like they need to do that they don't want to do. And what we are saying is, don't do them until you want to. But don't just sit around and not do something about wanting to. Think about the existing matches until it calls you. The reason that it's on your list is because there's some benefit to you or to those that you love about it. And so put yourself in a position that you really do want to do it by focusing upon the positive aspects of it until all of a sudden you find yourself doing it. Esther will clean up her place if there's somebody coming over. It's kind of like that. And then the last game she plays is she puts herself into a quiet place in comfortable clothing and sets her timer for 20 minutes and puts the app on so that it plays central air hiss. And she just focuses on that, and when her mind wanders, and it does every time, she just says, listen to the hiss. Just listen to that. Just listen to that. That's all. Just listen to that. Just listen to that until she feels her vibration rise, and then she's off into another day of amazing rendezvous every single time. And because she's been specific about things, when that person calls or that happens or that happens or that happens, it's no mystery why that's happening. It's no mystery why that's happening. It makes you feel empowered and invincible when you feel good on purpose and you specifically focus on things that you care about and bring yourself to a place of feeling good. And then the universe said, here's some of that. Well, here's some of that. And 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 here's some more of that. And here's some more of that. And here's some more of that. Here's some more of that. Until things that seem big don't seem big anymore. They're just next logical step. And then boom, there it is. Easy into your experience. And then you say, oh yeah, I've been wanting you for a while, but I forgot I wanted you because I wasn't feeling any lack about you. But now here you are. Now I remember when I felt lack about you, and then I remember no longer feeling lack about you, and then I remember feeling excited anticipation about you, and here you are. That's how it works. It is that easy. Doesn't matter what it is. Does not matter what it is. You can be or do or have anything that you desire. You just cannot work against the laws of the universe.
Just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wanted to have a clear communication with my inner being. And this morning as I was preparing, I was going, if Abraham must be, my inner being must be where Abraham is.
Hanging around together, yep.
Right.
Cooperative components to one another. What if
I come up and ask
the perfect question?
And you've done it. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Without your question, we've got nothing. It's law of attraction. It's not law of assertion. Yeah. If there's not asking, we are silent.